Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of 1 Peter. Today, we're in chapter 5, and we're going to be reading verses 1 through 4. In Luke 23, when Jesus is being tried before Caiaphas, at Caiaphas' house, and he's already told Peter in chapter 22 that he's going to deny him 3 times. When Peter protests, Jesus says, "No, you will." And he said, Satan has asked to sift you like wheat, but I'm prayed for you. And when you return, strengthen your brethren. And it's a phenomenal thing that Jesus says to him. You're about to go through the ringer, but I've prayed for you. I prayed for you. And of course, he's prayed for us too. We read it in John 17. And he's our high priest. He speaks to us for God all day long. But for him to say that to Peter, and then he said when, not if. When you return, strengthen your brethren. He's going to do that today. Another interesting thing happened in John 21. There on the beach, Sea of Galilee, Peter's gone fishing with some of the other apostles. Jesus tells them to throw their nets on into the water after they've caught nothing all night. And they have a great catch of fish, just like at the beginning back in Luke chapter 5, and they realize that it's the Lord. Peter throws himself into the sea, swims to shore. Once he gets to shore, he helps lug 600 or so pound of fish to shore. And he's so excited and anxious to be next to Jesus, but also timid because of his denial. And Jesus gives him the chance 3 times to tell him that he loves him. It's a wonderful event. We've talked about it before on some of our 5 good minutes. But after Jesus allows Peter to tell him 3 times he loves him, he tells him 3 times in different ways: take care of my lambs, feed my lambs, shepherd my sheep, care for my flock. Peter's going to do that today too. 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 1 through 4. Therefore, I exhort the elders among you, as your fellow elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Christ. Yeah, he was. Because there in Luke 23, when Jesus was being beaten at Caiaphas' house, Luke tells us that their eyes met, and then he went out and wept bitterly. He was there to see, and he remembers that. Witness of the sufferings of Christ, and a partaker also of the glory that is to be revealed. Shepherd the flock of God among you, not under compulsion, but voluntarily, according to the will of God, and not for sordid gain, but with eagerness, nor yet as lording it over those allotted to your charge, but proving to be examples of the flock. This connects in every word to his experience with Jesus on earth. And I've over the years spent a lot of time at 3 different congregations teaching lessons on qualifications of elders, and I grew up listening to those lessons. And when I was growing up, no one ever took me to 1 Peter 5. And yet for me, 1 Peter 5 is the primary text on the eldership. It's written from one elder to other elders about what it means to be an elder. It doesn't list qualifications, and there's no room for us to bicker about anything, so we pay less attention to these 4 verses. And yet it is the only passage in which all 3 words which the New Testament uses to describe the elders are used: presbyteros, episkopos, and poimen. Presbyteros, which we get our word presbyter from in English, which means an old guy, an elder, an old guy. If your eyes get old and you need glasses, you get presbyopia, which is what I have and why I wear these. It means an old guy, elders. And then he uses the word shepherd in verse 2 as a verb. Shepherd the flock of God among you. And then he uses the word for overseer, episkopos, from which we get our word bishop. And it's translated bishop in some New Testament translations. And that just means the boss, the overseer, the manager, the project manager, the the guy that's in charge of a particular job. That's what it means. It comes from the workplace. It means the supervisor of a task, and they're all there. You're an elder. That's who you are. What do? You shepherd and you supervise. That's what you do. How do you do that? Well, you do it because you want to, not because somebody has guilted you into it or forced you into it. And you don't do it for gain. You don't do it for the money, because Paul himself has made reference to paid elders, and evidently there were elders who served and who dedicated their lives to the eldership, who received support from their local congregations at that time. And so, but you're not doing it for that reason. You're not doing it to be the boss of anybody. You're not doing it, to exercise authority. You're not doing it for any of those reasons. You're doing it for one reason and one reason only: to provide leadership the way Jesus did. And he connects them to Jesus as he himself is connected to Jesus in all this. Jesus himself said, "I'm the good shepherd." Peter was there to hear him say that. Peter was there to hear him say, "I call my sheep by name, and I walk in front of them, and they follow me." That's the kind of leadership I provide. Jesus did not say, "I walk behind with a stick, whacking people or bullying people." He said, "I go and rescue them when they stray." He's the good shepherd. Psalm 23, he protects. This is what an elder does. An elder shepherds. An elder provides supervision. An elder leads, not by lording it over the flock, but proving to be examples, walking in front just as Jesus did. And then he connects them directly to Jesus in verse 4. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the unfading crown of glory. That's the blessing. You get that extra level of communion with Jesus when you serve as shepherd. And that is an unfading crown of rewards. You are participating directly in Jesus' own work as the good shepherd. Okay. We'll pick up with younger men next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.